Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. We have a lot prepared for you tonight. Of course, the big announcement earlier today, double game week 25. It's the fact that it's only one game week away. We still don't know the teams. There's a lot to decide what to do. Of course, it is a double game week this week with Liverpool and Everton, so we're going to be discussing their players, what chips you should be playing as well, because I feel like the double game weeks being announced has thrown a curveball into everybody's chip strategy. So we're expecting a lot of questions. So tonight is going to work a little bit differently, of course. If you've been living under a rock, or maybe you've not had a chance to check your phone or Twitter this afternoon/evening, then of course we are going to be talking through what has happened with the double game weeks, and of course our plans as well will be highlighted and answering your guys' questions, because I imagine you're probably going to have quite a few with, of course, this late announcement. Of course, I'm joined by my very, very good friend Jake. How are you doing, mate? How are you feeling after that news?
I'm good, and I'm probably more in the dark than some people in the comments, because I've been hard at work and haven't really paid too much attention about anything. I didn't even realise the Champions League draw had happened today until I was on my way home just now. So yeah, this will be just as informative for me as it will be for anyone else.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll go through absolutely everything. Which teams could potentially double, which players, and of course, which chips you want to, of course, activate this week. If you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill by now. I'll be live tomorrow for the deadline as well from 7:15 in the morning. Nice, bright, early. I'll be there, don't worry, with a little chipper smile, of course, answering all your questions. There is a poll going around as well. I've asked you guys what chips you are planning on playing in game week 24. Have you got the slot assistant manager chip, the Moyes assistant manager chip, sorry, TC Salah, or are you not playing any chips at all? Right, let's dive in. I'm going to explain it for everyone, including Jake, who's been a very, very busy boy at work today, bless him. Just ate some cheeky little fish fingers off screen. What branded? Were they branded, or were they like
No, they,
mystery?
they were. Don't you worry, they were bird's eye. I was
Oh,
paying premium.
wow. Bit of ketchup on them, bit of mayo.
Bit of catch up, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to be fair. Let's hope that this is the start of a little subtle weight loss routine. To be fair,
I hope so, mate. I hope so. Want to get you back to, the Mr. England days.
I know they feel like just a long lost dream, to be honest. But we're
Mm.
back. We're back in the gym for the first time in 18 months. So you got to start somewhere.
You do indeed, mate. I'm proud of you, and I hope your fish fingers were tasty.
Well,
Uh,
you're the gym man of my friendship group, so
well,
that goes a long way.
Well, yeah. Let's dive into then, of course, the announcement earlier today. So, of course, on screen right now, on the left-hand side is, of course, the next two game weeks, or the potential games that could be played in game week 25. And, of course, on the right-hand side is, of course, what is actually potentially going to happen next game week. So let's talk you through it then. So, as we all know, Liverpool and Everton double this game week. That's confirmed. That's going to be happening. The double game week news, though, is all dependent on the Carabao Cup semi-finals. So first off, if Liverpool beat Spurs and get to the EFL Cup final, then they will double against Aston Villa. So that would mean Aston Villa play Ipswich and Liverpool in double game week 25, and Liverpool would play Wolves and Aston Villa. If Spurs were to beat Liverpool in the semi-finals and head to the EFL Cup final, then Spurs would double and also Fulham would double. So that means Fulham would play Nottingham Forest and Tottenham, and Spurs would have Manchester United and Fulham. Finally, if Arsenal come back from 2-0 down to beat Newcastle, they will double alongside Chelsea. So Chelsea would play Brighton and Arsenal, and Arsenal would play Leicester and Chelsea. However, that one has, I think, the lowest probability out of all of them, considering the fact that Arsenal are 2-0 down. Now, if Newcastle make it to the final, their double will go somewhere else because they don't have European football to contend with, so it's not going to go into this break of double game week 25 here. Is that nice and clear? Have you got that, Jake?
Yep, all loud and clear, mate.
Wonderful stuff. So, off the back of that and your initial kind of reaction, what would you say is your initial thoughts on that one? What are you thinking?
I think my initial thoughts are you would be very wise to activate that assistant manager token. Now, as we'll soon find out, I already had.
Yeah.
But that was more just me being me. Whereas now there is actually proof in the pudding. You've got, if you activate that chip, you will get 2 double game weeks out of it. There's no other chip that you can use to benefit from these 2 in a row. Well, not 2 in a row, but you know what I mean.
Well, just using one chip rather than having to use two. Yeah, I got.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Two for the price of one there.
I think it pretty much as well cancels out the people that were initially going to use the triple captain chip as well this game week.
It potentially does. Of course, whenever you use a token, you are upping your chances, whether you like it or not, despite there being a token out there with the assistant manager chip, which backs both double game weeks if you activate it this week. But of course, you can't rule out if someone does a triple captain and a bench boost in those two that it pays off massively. But like I say, and like you clarified for me, you're using 2 tokens there when here you're benefiting just from one.
Yeah, agreed. Interestingly as well, I do think if that Liverpool one has definitely thrown a spanner in the works for a lot of people as well, because people would have already bought in triple Liverpool heading into this double game week, the ones with Trent, Salah, Gakpo. Do you think potentially it's worth maybe some people looking to remove one of those to go and get slot in just off the initial inspections before we dive into anything else?
It's a good question, actually. Good question. Oh God, that's an interesting one. I feel like if you've made that triple captain, what am I talking about? If you've made that triple transfer or you've pre-planned it, and you've already made those moves, I want to say that it's probably best you stick. The only thing that really is an incentive to bring someone like Slottin is just how many opportunities for points there are.
Agreed.
Now, it's not quite the same. if you similar to my position, if you had 3 Everton players, I think you'd be quite keen on getting you'd be quite keen on taking a minus for this week to get Moyes in because of the incentive of the 10 points for winning against a side that are 5 places above you. With Slot, there's still a massive temptation to go for him because of the fact that you've got the double game week in a couple of weeks. But the one thing I would say to get around this would be go for Moyes. You've got that opportunity. It's Goodison Park, the final Merseyside derby there. It just seems written in the stars that Everton will win that out of nowhere. You get those big points, and then next game week you can maybe look to rotate because you'll know who's made it to the final. You'll have a definitive answer as to who's getting a double. Because who knows? Spurs have got that 1-0 lead. Who knows?
Yeah.
So it might not be worth taking a massive gamble, taking out Gakpo when you know for a fact he's got a double game week this weekend, and just play with Moyes, and then over the next week or so, or 10 days to 2 weeks, as you prepare for that second double game week, you then have a sure answer as to who's got the doubles and who to back.
Yeah, agreed. I think the kind of the thought process that was running through my mind initially was I am in a position where I've got triple Liverpool. I've got Gakpo, I've got Trent, I've got Salah in my team. And my thought was, if I go Moyes, then somebody either like Marco Silva or Unai Emery, there is that chance of a table bonus. However, both of those games are against Liverpool. So it's kind of like, would they get anything out of either of those games? Like, I know, they could, but you're a very, very formidable side at the moment. Very, very good. And I know you're sometimes a little bit pessimistic around Liverpool, but I think you are one of the best sides in Europe right now. So it's just one of those, isn't it? Trying to find that right balance. And the other thing that was running through my mind, and we'll see it later when we get to my team, is, of course, Gakpo is one of those players that I think could maybe be benched in one of the double game week games.
Possibly, yeah. That is a possibility. I think the only thing to argue that is the fact that both games are quite difficult. Because any Merseyside derby, you write off any kind of form, and Bournemouth away, that seems like it's the most daunting task any football team could go to after they quite comfortably dispatched Forest, who seem to be the team to beat. I know, of course, Liverpool are the team to beat being at the top, but with Forest's form, they were unbeaten against Liverpool this season, and then to see Bournemouth beat them so convincingly. I think they will be difficult games, so I'd be very surprised if, personally, I think Slot starts Gakpo in both of them,
Yeah.
and it just depends on how the game goes. If they're comfortably winning, he may take him off. If they're not getting the breakthrough, he may well take him off. So I agree to a certain extent in the fact that he won't play 120 minutes. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The other interesting things that I noticed as well is if Villa get that double, I think a lot of people are going to be switching to Ollie Watkins from Isak, because
Mm.
Isak's got City in 25, and Watkins would have a double of both Ipswich and Liverpool at home. Of course, it looks like John Duran's out the door as well. They got through automatically to the round of 16, so no midweek game either for Europe or whatever to worry about. So you'd probably say Watkins will probably see 90 minutes in both of those games.
Yeah, and Watkins got his first Premier League hat trick before Bukayo Saka against Liverpool. So
There you go.
there's there's history there. Ipswich, I feel like Ipswich are one of those really. Recently they seem to have forgotten how to fight. They
Yeah.
seemed a bit spirited towards the back end of last year, but all of a sudden they've, albeit played two of the most difficult teams on their day, but they were quite convincingly beaten. So yeah, you definitely fancy Villa assets in that, and if they get that double.
Yeah, someone just said the Duran transfer has been confirmed by Villa. So there we go. So it's looking even better for Watkins if they do get that double.
Mad.
Um,
Strange transfer, by the way.
it's one of those, isn't it, where I get
Money.
why he's gone for money, but I think he's from a very, very poor background. So to have that opportunity of like a 5-year deal
It's a
with,
job at the end of the day, isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah,
you've
you
only
are.
you've only got so many. It's not like a normal job. Like they only probably have maybe like 15 years at top level if you're good enough.
Mm.
Like all it takes
Yeah,
is one one
one
nasty
season
injury.
there will set him for life,
Yeah,
won't it?
yeah. Exactly. Right, let's move on then. I wanted to, of course, we'll answer some of your guys' questions once we go through this next bit. But 11 of 5 done us an absolute solid this week. Make sure to go and check out their amazing website, link in the description. But what they have done is given us the predicted points for each team over the next 3 game weeks. Of course, with people looking to activate their assistant managership in 24 or 25 or 26. And it's looking, I did some maths, did some number crunching, that of course, Liverpool and Slot come out ahead if you just go for 24 and 25, rather than if you went for Moyes or switch him to Silva or Emery. What do you think about that one, lad?
The stats are very accurate. I can't see why you would opt elsewhere.
Mm,
Everton's score under Moyes will be predominantly due to them but being at home hosting Leicester.
yeah,
Um, but once again, the stats will be just calculating what is on paper in front of them. The stats won't be taking into account just how much of a big game that is for Everton and just how much stats do tend to go out the window between Everton and Liverpool. Because on paper, you would back Slot, but it's just that incredible reward you get if Moyes does pull off a win.
yeah. I definitely do think that does play into some of the narrative. I know we've obviously outlined it in previous streams as well, where we've gone through the results and it's usually like 1-0 or 0-0. There's usually not a lot of goals in those games. And you feel like with it being that final game at Goodison, Moyes back there as well, it just seems like one of those things that's like a proper football narrative. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it certainly is.
that's just
Yeah,
the way
I like that. I do like that. Apologies, but what remind me what Liverpool's double is in the second one? Villa and who?
Villa
Wolves, is it?
and Wolves, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I can see why that one does just take a nudge, but that's when you would be tempted to bring Slot in, but then play Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, I think the only disadvantage of course going for Moyes is you're going to want to swap him out next week for either Silva, Emery, Postecoglou, whoever. Is going to use up a transfer. Where if you went Slot
Right.
this week, of course you're going to have Slot next week, and you've not got to worry about that transfer, and you could get yourself in a Watkins, say a Fulham player if they're doubling, whoever, you know what I mean, another one of the double game week players. So I do think that is one of the downsides. So of course having that switch from Everton to Fulham to Aston Villa, I do think that's
Yeah, I get that. Depends how ballsy you are, because if you go for slot, you're probably backing the winning horse.
mm,
However, if you're taking that gamble to take a minus, it'll say, for example, so for me, like when we get onto it, Moyes is my manager.
hmm
If I were to go for Watkins in and bring Slot in and take a -4 there, the fact that I've gone for Moyes now,
mm,
you're only going for that because because you feel like there's a chance of a massive haul.
yeah,
But if you're going for the sensible things, like if you've got Slot and you're then going for Amory, who's got two fairly decent games, but you then also want to make a transfer, then I get it's a bit unreasonable. But I don't think a -4 would even be the end of the world if you're going for a big one, especially if you go for Moyes this week and he does pull off something special, because then you've got a couple of points to play around with and be sensible, because you're not going to keep him in, are you, for that next game week?
no, especially with doubles now next week,
The
it's
only the only thing I would say is, though, that would suggest it might be worth me saving my transfer that I've got still
I
this
was
week.
I was gonna suggest that when I'd look at your side earlier. I was like, maybe worth like just saving it, take two into next week. So then you
Mm.
can use one, of course, to get Moyes to one of the double game week managers. Then, of course, bring in a player. The other thing I was looking at, and I think this is a pretty broad statement that I think you'll probably agree with as well. If you've got two Liverpool players, you've got the money in the bank, go for Slot. I don't think there's any point kind of looking at anything else if you've only got two Liverpool players.
Yeah, it's what you'd expect to happen.
Mm.
And if you're gonna you've got to back the data, because 99 times out of 100, it's gonna prove itself to be true, because the better team will beat the team that aren't quite up to it.
hmm
But like I say, once again, it's an iffy one for me, to be honest, Tom, because I did have the opportunity to bring another Liverpool player in, and instead I opted to go for Moyes. I even think, back in my mind, I was tempted by and die over a Liverpool asset. I just feel like this is Everton's cup final of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
So it could. We know what Everton can be like. We know what Liverpool can be like. And if you meet each other at opposite ends of the spectrum, Liverpool could come out high flying winners, and Slot could be laughing his way to the top of the assistant manager points of the week. But it's a fine line, really, because I think the thing that has tempted me, and will probably tempt a lot of other people, is that 10-point bonus.
For the win, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
interestingly, there is some data that has been done on that. So it's out of obviously the 10 games that are played per week, there is usually only one in that section that actually gets the table bonus. So it's
as in only one team beats a team 5 places higher.
yeah, per week. So you're only usually going to get, so what's that? Like 10 to 1 odds, pretty much, or 9 to 1 odds. Then you're going to have, I think, what was the other one that I saw as well earlier? Oh my god, I can't remember what the other one was. Oh, it was the Rob T FPL one. I should have probably put this one together as well. But basically, he put together a wonderful graph. By the way, feel free to go and check out Rob T FPL on Twitter, a legend. But the higher upside is, of course, playing this strategy that you're going for, that table bonus. However, the average was higher just for picking the favourites. So there's more upside in it. However, there was a lot more flops down here. So
Yeah.
like I said, I feel like for people that do just have that two Liverpool, the easiest thing to go for, the no-brainer strategy, is to go for Slot. You could probably come away with 30 points in the next 2 weeks. You're laughing. You are laughing yourself up the table.
Yep. Yep. Fair enough. um, but I do still feel like if you've got triple Liverpool, go for David Moyes.
Oh, it's a big shout. We'll talk more about that when we get to my team. I'm guessing we're probably going to have quite a few questions as well. So let's have a look. What have we got in here? Trent to Kirkes this week and Slot in would be for a -4. What do you think about that?
I think you're shooting yourself in the foot a little bit there.
It's such a tough one. It genuinely is such a tough one.
I feel like you've got to keep Trent in, to be honest,
Mm.
because you're only going to want to, I imagine, waste another transfer in the future to bring him back. I also, unless, well, I feel like you're really contradicting yourself if you bring Kirkes in as well, because if you're bringing in a Bournemouth defender, unless you're going to bring him in just to bench him, then why are you bringing Slot in if you think?
There's a decent run for Bournemouth post this week though, so
Well,
it'd be a really
well,
good player post this week.
no, fair enough. But yeah, personally, I feel like it can wait then, and just keep Trent. Bring Kirkes in after this week. Save your transfer. Take two into the second one, where you can then mess about a little bit.
Yeah. Harry's asked me, is Gakpo for and die for a -4 to get Slot over Salah TC worth it? I think we're going to have a lot of tough questions tonight. This is why I put it in this format, because I knew we were going to have so many.
Ah, God, you know what? I actually, as much as I feel like that's a bit of once again, it's you're shooting yourself in the foot because you're going, I'm going to bring in Dye in, but then I'm going to have Slot as manager. So you fancy Everton to score.
But he'll be hoping for the Leicester game. That's where
I
you.
know, but then Gakpo could very well get a goal or two against Bournemouth. We don't know how that could go.
Mm,
Gakpo's goal scoring, I imagine, is a little bit better than Ndai's record this season, even though Ndai has been very good. Um, I don't think slots a must-have this week. I really don't. I think having double or triple Liverpool is plenty. I don't think you need to be making sacrifices. Now, I'm not saying don't bring slots in. If you have got only two, that's fair enough. Go for it because you're getting two bites of the cherry and you get points for things that no other player can get or can accumulate. Um, but yeah, I think if you've got three Liverpool players or you don't have enough money for slot, I think you just go with leaving it completely or go for David Moyes.
okay.
I absolutely love Everton on this stream,
You
don't
do love Everton. It's intriguing because you are a massive Liverpool fan, which is very intriguing. Um, yeah, I really don't know where to sit with that one. I don't think the -4 is necessarily going to be worth it. If you can get, he says you can get Moyes in for free as well. I think just get the Moyes in for free. That's
Join the club, lad. Up
that's
the
probably going to
toffees.
be the better play in my opinion. We've. I'm good. I'm good, mate. I hope you're doing well as well. TC Salah this game week or use the assistant manager. I would use the assistant manager. If you can get Slot, I think that's the better play for me personally, rather
Yeah,
than using the TC.
agreed. I also don't feel like this week is a very good double for Liverpool, for Salah, sorry. Not saying Liverpool can't come out of that with maximum points,
Mm,
but it's just not, it's, I don't know, it's just not the greatest of two away games, is it? Uh,
no,
and we're
no.
meeting Bournemouth with very good form, although that's another stadium where Salah has scored a hat-trick. Um, but I do feel like that's going to be a very difficult Bournemouth game.
Yeah, yeah. Currently on free Liverpool, free Everton. First four is Canate out to get Slot in. I think I'd do that. I think there's going to be more upside in Slot than Canate for 2 games. I think Trent's a different beast because, of course, his attacking threat and his good underlying
Hey,
data.
Canate got an assist of the
Oh
weekend.
yeah. Did you see the goal was ridiculous? The goal was absolutely
Class
ridiculous.
assist.
But I think if you've got Canate, Allison, Van Dijk, I think it's worth getting
Is that
rid
what
of
he's
them.
got?
No, I'm just saying if you've got any of those three, yeah, that'd be a weird triple up in Liverpool. But for me, I think if you've got those three, it's worth taking one of those out to go and get Slot in. Because Slot over 2 weeks could get 30, 6, 12, 18, 24 if they all keep clean sheets and get no bonus.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Van Dijk is a bit iffy. I definitely would swap. I definitely would be tempted if you had Allison, but I don't know what you've got Allison for if you do.
Some people have got him just because they needed a goalkeeper for the double game week, but
Wow.
I guess it's one of those, isn't it?
You'd have Pickford surely,
Yeah. Well,
because just purely for save points. Because even if Allison does keep a clean sheet and Pickford doesn't, he's bound to pick up some points.
yeah, someone's just said Canate clean sheets, he'd need 5. Slot win alone plus clean sheets and goals, 30 points. So I think that's probably going to be like I said. I think if you've got Canate, Van Dijk, Alisson out, then bring in Slot. That's probably the way I'd go with that one.
It's going to be a big shift in table scores, isn't it?
Oh mate,
it's really going to mess with people's scores.
Honestly, this chip is going to be wild. There's going to be some huge upswings and downswings.
Everton could be the team that saved my season.
Everton could be the team that absolutely changes your season, or could absolutely hinder it. Because imagine if they lose both games and
we've not taken into account the Leicester one at Spurs the other day.
Yeah. This is the thing. What if they lose both of them? Right, Aston Villa don't get the double, so you go for Fulham. Fulham then lose both of their games. You're absolutely nibbled. Meanwhile, people that have played it probably safe and gone for Slot are laughing with a 30-point extra bonus on you.
Ah, well, when it rains, it pours. But at the same time, when I'm in the position I'm in, I don't think it's an absolutely what am I trying to say? I don't think I should be going to any kind of mental hospital or anything for this decision. It's not like I'm coming up with something and going, oh, actually, I reckon let's bring in the Southampton manager. I do feel like there is some sense to David Moyes coming in. And I do feel like when you take into account how previous Merseyside derbies have gone, and of course, like I keep saying, with it being the last one at Goodison Park, the fans will be right up for it.
They will indeed, mate. But I guess let's wait and see what happens. We've just hit over 100 people in the stream, by the way, which I think is one of our most ever viewed preview streams. So thank you very much.
We need
for that.
More last minute double release.
We really do. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you're liking it, subscribing, all that good stuff. Of course, I'll be live tomorrow for the deadline stream, but we've got plenty more to talk through as well. So let's answer some more questions. One of our channel members has said -8 to get Slot in. Probably going to need a little bit more context. If you give us more context, we might be able to help you on the -8. Trying to have a read through some questions. I know a lot of people, of course, have got massive paragraphs that they're sending in. Try and break it down as clear as possible so we can try and help you out. Game week 36 to 38 for Wolves, assistant manager. It's possible, but the only thing I would say is with these fixtures that originally were probably either going to go into 33 or 36, you're now probably going to maybe only look at one other double game week that gets announced after this. So do just be wary with your chip strategy. Should I bring in Moyes for the assistant manager? I have 3 Liverpool and then see where to go from then, or just triple captain Salah. I think we've kind of hit this one on the head. It depends what Liverpool players you've got. If it's Trent and Gakpo as the 3, probably keep them. If it's Canate, Van Dijk, Alisson, yeah, I would play the assistant manager and get
log out.
Yeah, but yeah, we'd probably say it's better to play the assistant manager back-to-back weeks rather than the triple captain. But there is that opportunity, of course, if you want to go down that route and you've got a gut feeling. But I think that's probably the better way to go for it. Gordon to a Bournemouth mid, assistant manager on Moyes, or Gordon to a Bournemouth mid, Alisson to Pickford, and the assistant manager on Slot for a -4.
I actually don't know which one is a better decision.
I like the second one better, you know.
Yeah.
I think I'd go
I'll let you take the reins on this one.
No, I think I'd go the second one. I think that -4 would probably pay off. It means then you're saving a transfer next week as well, not to do like a Moyes to one of the other ones. I just think that's probably going to be the better way to play that.
No, fair enough. Also, on a side note,
Go on.
Have you seen 26's fixture?
26?
Yeah, so you get the assistant for 3 weeks, don't you?
Yeah.
We're away to Man City.
Yeah. That if you went for Slot, you would take him out after that. And 26.
Would you put? Oh, imagine City are 6th.
Well, they probably will be, won't they? So you could use it on Pep if you really wanted a table bonus.
Yeah, or you've got Leicester at home to Brentford, and Brentford hate playing away from home.
Yeah, that could be a decent one. There's some really good fixtures that week as well. You've obviously got
Newcastle at home to Forest, even that could be 5 places by then.
could be Brighton against Southampton if you wanted just to go for a pure win. Who've Ipswich got?
Spurs away. Oh, imagine you go for Ipswich.
Oh my god. Yeah, if Spurs win the next two games, they could pull away probably.
Hmm.
Maybe a Kieran McKenna one. Just maybe got to think outside the box a little bit with this.
Well, that's what I'm doing, and you're shutting me down. You don't want to. You don't want to hear David Moyes.
I'm just trying to have a think, lad. I'm just trying to have a think. Right, we'll answer some more questions in a bit. Do keep them coming in. But let's plough on with the rest of today's preview stream. Of course, we're going to move on to the betting data from Rob T FPL. Liverpool, of course, are looking absolutely stupendous with 4.4, I think that is in my head. Yeah, 4.4 projected goals over both, and roughly, what's that? 30 plus 40. That's 70. Mama, I've been a while
Yes,
since
mate.
I've
Yeah,
done.
well done. No,
There we
no.
go. So yeah, looking really, really good for Liverpool across both of the game weeks as well in terms of those projected goals. So we already knew that was going to be good. Everton's as well, not great in the Liverpool game, but the Leicester game is looking pretty decent from a defensive perspective. Projected goals as well aren't too bad for a side that have, of course, been struggling with the goal involvements. Is there any other standouts there for you, Jake, in terms of the Rob T FPL fixtures and the betting
Brentford
markets?
at home to Spurs.
Yeah, the Brentford one is tasty. I think for people that did, of course, go for Brian and Buemo, or are looking for a route out of Gakpo, if you can get Visser in and upgrade to slot that way, that could be a tasty one.
Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Um, Chelsea West Ham. That'll be an interesting game. I don't think it'll be quite as one-sided as those stats suggest.
Yeah,
And it'll be interesting to see how Forest respond.
it will. It will. Early
But
kickoff as well.
yeah, yeah. Um, when you look at the percentages for goals conceded for clean sheet,
Mm.
when do you think that's a good possibility? What percentage do you count as a good possibility? Because you say Everton's 38% is good, and I'd agree, but I
Yeah.
don't know where do you draw the line where you say nah, they're not really fancying them here.
I'd probably say 30 plus is I'd feel comfortable playing one of my defenders in.
You
Below
say
that,
what, Jacob Greaves?
I mean, if I had Jacob Greaves, I probably would play him. I genuinely would this week. If I need to play a player, Jacob Greaves at 31% could be all right.
Yeah,
But I do feel like both teams will score in that game because they're both really crap.
they're confident about Chelsea's clean sheet, and I'm surprised by that.
Mm, It's
Because
probably it's probably because West Ham have been a bit poo in front of goal.
they have, but the Villa game was actually a little bit unfortunate that they didn't get all 3 points come the end of it. They
Mm,
created decent chances, and Chelsea are their own biggest downfall really when it comes to defending because they just make the mistakes themselves.
yeah, yeah. Um, what was the other one I wanted to point out? Oh yeah, I was looking at some research on Aston Villa, right? And we'll see why for my team because at the moment I've still got Rodgers sat on my bench, but their record post Champions League is terrible, genuinely terrible. They've only won one game post Champions League this season. They've only scored 6 goals during that period as well. 3 draws and 3 losses. It's not a good record.
Does that mean you'd say Cunha's a good transfer to make this week, or are you
No,
not saying that at all?
no, I'm definitely not saying that at all. I'm just saying maybe some ammunition for people to potentially bench Rodgers this week.
I don't see it. I don't see how you can see a player score a hat trick and then bench him. I know your stats may well be good and true, but when a player scores a hat trick, I just really can't see why you'd bench him.
But right, hear me out. Yeah, I'm gonna use an analogy here. Right.
Right.
So Villa, right? Let's say they're a 6 out of 10. Yeah, they're a 6 out of 10 lad. Yeah, they have just got right. They've just like been out with Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, they've been to the Champions League. Yeah, they're in the round of 16.
Yeah.
right? And you're a 6 out of 10. Yeah,
Right.
you're not bad looking, but you're a 6 out of 10, right? And you've huffed and puffed, yeah? You've gave her the best 30 seconds of her life, right? Okay? You've huffed and puffed. Now, right, you're back on Tinder and you're swiping against Wolves, right?
Yeah.
A 4 out of 10. How are you getting yourself up? You know what I mean? Plus, that was only like 3 days ago as well. You're still a bit limp. You're a bit tired.
I mean, the only bit where this analogy goes a bit cuckoo is the fact that it's a derby. So does that mean the swipe is your cousin or something?
No, no, I probably won't go cousin. I'd go. It's like your ex-girlfriend, and you sort of
Oh,
want to
lad,
impress
nah.
her.
In that situation, people have done much worse than go back to their ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. Maybe, or it's like, who would you like hate hate shag? I guess is the word.
Oh, I don't know. Now that I've actually clocked that it's a derby, though, would Rodgers not be up for it a bit more?
But would they? But like lad, like I said, they've just spilt the beans over Sydney Sweeney. They've spilt the beans over Sydney Sweeney. How do you get yourself back up for that? Like, it's Wolves. I know it's a derby, but at the end of the day, it's Wolves.
I do get what you're saying, but like
They're still a 5 out of
at the
10 with a
same
bit of
time,
stubble.
yeah. I guess the situation. Well, that's the thing. The situation will spice it up, um, and of course, Wolves will be up for it because they're at home. Because it was only Celtic they were playing, and it was but of course, it was the atmosphere and
It
what
was the
it
fact
actually meant to
they
me.
got through to the round of 16. That's big. That is big.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
just yeah. I mean, we've completely gone absolutely off topic there, and I hope people enjoyed my analogy because that's the sort of stuff you can expect from this kind of
We've now gone
announcement.
to 1,000 viewers.
Yeah, yeah. We've now gone to a
They just
thousand
said
views.
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney and everyone is drooling, so we're all good. Any final thoughts on the betting stuff before we move on, mate?
No, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go on to your team then for this week. I've obviously whacked David Moyes in for you there. You've already activated your assistant manager chip. Looking at it, to be honest, mate, I've not put Salah captain. I'll switch him to captain for you. But looking at it, I do think you probably could roll this week.
Yeah, it's not a bad suggestion. Do you play Anuchu or Welbeck?
Oh, I think you've got to play Anucci with that fixture, haven't you? You just have.
But did you not see those clean sheet statistics?
I did, lad, but at the same time, like, he is a donkey, but Ipswich have been terrible.
Yeah, they have.
I think
Yeah.
you've got to play Anucci this week. You've got to give it a gamble.
All right. I think we'll keep ours, and I don't think it's worth playing Welbeck because I've got Milinkovic in, so I don't want to contradict my team. I'll back Forest. Yeah, and the team doesn't look too bad.
No, I think for maybe a transfer, you could have gone probably Sarr to Cliver if you wanted, but it's not
Not
that.
against Liverpool. I ain't contradicting myself just yet. I mean, he has been in great form. I was actually a little bit tempted to do sub Oslai for Sarr, but I think the sensible thing to do here, if I'm going to be changing transfers with my manager,
Yeah,
is to just bank it this week.
yeah. I think it is probably the wise move, to be honest, mate. Come 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, though, when you sat in the stream, you'll be going, yeah, I've taken a -8. It's all gone wrong.
Yeah, that sounds all right. And Slot's come in and gone out again.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said I'd play Cash. Cash is actually flagged. I saw that.
Yeah, he's red.
Yeah, he's red. What's his red?
Muscle injury back 25th of Feb.
There we go. So no playing Cash this week, unfortunately. Shane said he has zero idea of who Sydney Sweeney is.
And Shane goes to the gym.
Shane, come on, mate.
Shane has priorities.
Let,
Shane doesn't stare on TikTok and Twitter Twitter videos and blah 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 blah. No, good for you, Shane. Stick at it.
yeah, either that or his wife sat with him watching it, and he's like, "Oh, I've got no idea who they're talking about. I'm just gonna cover my tracks here."
Well, Shane, if that's the case, we both agree. You
Yeah,
do
yeah,
not
yeah,
know who she is.
yeah, yeah. But if Shane, you're feeling a bit, tonight, and you fancy a little Google, I'd just a quick Sydney Sweeney. Have a
Yeah,
look,
and then
little look.
once you've like let it all out,
Yeah.
see how you feel about playing Wolves.
See how you feel. Then you'd be like, oh, like you know what I mean? Would I? Would
And then
I?
let us know,
Yeah.
because however you feel about playing Wolves after that moment is the result of tomorrow's game.
Exactly. Have you, spurned your load? That's the perfect thing, right? You've found the ultimate video, yeah. You've done it to the ultimate video, yeah. Let's say on Wednesday,
Yeah.
right? By Saturday, are you gonna be gagging to go again? And it's a like a dodgy video, like 4 pixels, not quite there video.
I know. No, and I get that, but once you've started looking at this pixel,
Yeah.
that's actually a good analogy, because then you start remembering Wednesday's HD version,
Mm.
and you're too busy getting complacent thinking about the other day. I do get that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Someone just put what is going on. Uh, we're trying to basically describe Wolves getting up for the Champions League and then trying to get themselves up again for the war. It's a long shot. If you've not been here for the absolute drivel that has been going off in this stream, we started so well. We had lots of good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually quite like the analogy there, and you wouldn't get that analogy anywhere else.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Um,
Everyone else is probably talking like proper good strategies and stuff. But the stuff that we say works.
mhm.
You know what I
Does
mean? It does work what we're saying. We just add in some humour and stuff for you guys. So we hope you enjoy it anyway. Right. Any final thoughts on your team, Jake, before we move on to mine?
Nope. Let's get on to the team.
Let's get on to it. As you can see, we're doing pretty well at the moment. We're 33k in the world, which is it's just good stuff. It is good stuff, all right? But as you can see, we do have one transfer in hand, no assistant managership active yet. Now I've got 2 strategies to go for, and I've wrote them down in my phone, so I'm just going to pull that up with, of course, projected points for both as well, because I'm a nerd and I've done all the maths. All right. So let me read you option 1, Jake. Option
Yep.
1 is I go Moyes in for the assistant manager, and then we'd either go to Marco Silva or Emery in 25 for their double. We'd have to this week do Raya to Pickford though to get the money to get Moyes in. And then next week, would take a -4 to get a double game week defender in to afford one of the Silva or who's the other guy?
Amory.
Emery, yeah. So that's option 1, okay? Option 2 is I bring Slot in as the assistant manager for 24 and 25, take Gakpo out and put Ndai in.
Do you not think you're contradicting yourself with Ndai, though? That's the thing.
It's the Leicester game. That's all I'm bothered about. I don't really care about the Everton game. I
Um,
don't expect him to get anything out of that.
Okay. Sorry to bring us back to this, but you're going to shag
Oh god. Oh god.
Sydney Sweeney on Saturday. But first, you got to get through fucking, I don't know, someone that your nan's suggested to you. You're not going to be thinking about that. You're too busy thinking about Sydney Sweeney in a few days. So I think Leicester, Everton could get complacent.
But it's not in a few days, is it though? It's not on Wednesday. It's the following Wednesday.
Oh mate, if you've got Sydney Sweeney the following Wednesday, mate, I think you need a few months preparation.
Exactly. But yeah, that's where I'm at with my thinking. The option 2 has has 1 projected better point. So yeah, but the beauty of it is, of course, next week I would be able to make my 1 transfer to bring in a double game week player. I wouldn't. Yeah. Option 1 would require me to take a -4 next week.
Yeah, but option 2 you're making the minus this week, so it's not
no,
really.
No, I'm not taking a minus this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no minus.
And would you keep him dying, do you reckon?
He'd just sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mm.
Let me know in the chat, guys. Which way would you go for that one? Would you go option 1 or would you go option 2? Let me know in the chat. I am leaning towards more option more towards option 1 at the moment.
Yeah, because you just brought Gakpo in and he's just pulled. He's done everything you could have asked him to do, and
He
now you're
has.
sacking him off immediately.
But it's the safety of the points with Slot. You know what I mean? It is that safety where Moyes could absolutely eat turds.
But he also could do
He
the
could. But he could eat turds. It means then next week I've got to make transfers. So yeah. Yeah. It's one of those.
Well, we'll see what you do tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, it's gonna be a heavy one. The coin actually cooked midweek as well, so maybe he can cook again.
Oh, in the Champions League.
Yeah. I went Dembele in, yes or no coin. Yes. Rafinha
Well,
or Lewandowski on the bench. Lewandowski on the bench, the coin said. So yeah, maybe a big.
Did it say Garassi in as well?
I already was gonna bring Garassi in. I knew that legend would score a goal, and he did. He didn't let us down, did he? Josh has made a pretty decent point. He says, is Gakpo really going to be risked for all Premier League games? That's the other thing, isn't it? Is I do keep the Gakpo one, but at the same time, is he going to play all 4 games? Where I know I'm getting guaranteed points off Slot.
That's a good point. What happens if Slot gets sent to the stands?
Nothing. It's the club. It just goes off the club. It's basically, EFL Fantasy. They've nicked the idea, but they went, how do we make it look slightly different?
I know. We'll do the manager instead of the team.
Do the manager, but if the manager actually gets sent off or sacked, it means diddly squat. So yeah.
Yeah, they fully have actually. No, I didn't really think into that, but it's a great idea from EFL. Shame they didn't patent it or something.
It is a great idea. It's a shame they didn't patent it, but here we are, I guess.
Yeah.
Abby has said option 2 all the way. Gakpo isn't good away from home and not sure he'll play as many games over the doubles.
Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. And if it's going to save you a transfer in the future, then maybe it is worth you just going for it.
The only other problem I might have, though, is Raya might be out. Arteta said he's a doubt for the game.
Oh yeah, I can see a little flag on him.
Yeah, so I might be playing with 10.
Oh, when you could have Pickford for 2 games.
I might just take the -4 and get Pickford in anyway.
Nah, I think you should do option 1 then. Do option 1.
But
then take Gakpo out after this week.
I think I'm leaning more towards 2.
Well, then do bloody 2 then.
I might do 2. I think 2 saves me from the Gakpo minutes risk.
I would keep him for at least this week and see how it goes. Because, right, what if in this double Gakpo gets 4 goals? You're going to want him back in?
I don't know.
If Ndai scores 4 goals, you're not going to be desperate to get him in that next double because he doesn't have one. But if Gakpo has a really good couple of games, you will be tempted to bring him back in. So personally, I feel like Raya is your coin here, telling you to focus on Pickford, get him in, keep Gakpo, do the business.
People are saying they'd go for 2 in the chat.
Well, people in the chat are lovely people and fair play to them, so we'll go with that then, shall we? But personally, I feel like with your goalkeeper issue and with the fact that Gakpo's got a better chance of getting a better return than Ndai, I would say Gakpo, keep him.
I might have to do some more maths. I reckon. Who thought it'd be so stressful playing a game?
You're not playing a game, lad. This is your life.
Yeah, it is my life.
Your life is on the line here, Tom.
It is. It is on the line, I guess. I saw earlier before while we were waffling on, Jamie's joined the chat, one of our channel moderators. I just want to say congratulations to Jamie. I know he's had a new baby girl, so congratulations to you, mate.
Oh, wow. Well done, Jamie. For some reason, I feel like because we do the stream and we've got people asking and commenting, we're all still in like university.
Yeah, we actually have grown adults in our chats.
And Jamie, if you are a younger dad, then fair play to you because I definitely wouldn't be ready for that, and I'm 26, so fair play if you're younger. But no, that really does just remind you that there are people with real jobs and lives that sit down whenever you say on Twitter and go, you know what, I'm going to tune into two nutcases.
Two nutcases talking about Sydney Sweeney and then doing a
Comparing her to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah. Beating Celtic to qualify for the round of 16. That is Sydney Sweeney. Shagging some 5. That is Wolves away. But yeah, massive congrats to Jamie on his new baby girl. I hope you've named her like Johan Visser or something.
Oh.
He says he's 33 and he's already got a son as well. Well, I'm very happy for you, mate.
Kevin Charder.
Exactly. Kevin,
lad,
Kevin Charder and little Johan Visser.
Little Johan Visser sounds quite sweet, actually.
Yeah, there you go, little Johan Visser. I do think my child, if I ever have one, would be named after like a player that does well that season.
Well, yeah, because if you like are feeling a bit moody, had a bit of a tough day, and you're like, I'm not sure what I should do here transfer wise. Hi guys, yeah, thinking of playing Jacob Greaves actually.
Yeah. But imagine you go home, right, and you've named your child Visser. And it just brings back the memories of like this season for me when like.
It's that meme, isn't it? Where it's like, oh, Dad, remind me about.
Yeah, Dad. Why am I called like Rose?
It's just
because
him
your mum
crying.
likes Rose. Why am I called Johan Visser? Because he absolutely slapped it in a double game week, son. Oh dear. Yeah, we can get as many likes in for Jamie. Big up, Jamie. Absolute legend. And congratulations yet again, mate. Right, let's answer some of your guys' questions before me and Jake wrap up today's stream. Oh, Brian's a much better name, by the way. Brian Emblemo. Little Brian Emblemo. Guys, do you know if it costs a transfer to use the assistant manager chip? It does not. You can activate it, but once you've selected that manager, it will then cost you to make any more kind of changes to the one. But yeah, get your questions in. Of course, Jake, I'm going to ask you our favourite question, mate. What do you think is going to be... Let me just get the fixtures up for everybody else. What do you think, mate, is going to be the lowest... Oh, no, we do the highest, don't we? We do the highest scoring game.
I'm going to go for Brentford Spurs.
Okay. I'm going to go Ipswich Southampton. That has got a goal fest written all over it, and you can't deny me.
Well, as long as Anuchu is part of that, then I'm more than happy.
Anuchu's hamstring's gone in 5 minutes.
Oh, he can't even reach his hamstring. His legs are that long. He is a lanky boy. Well, hopefully he makes the most of that.
Hopefully so. All the new Lord Lundstroms as well. Nice. What a throwback that is from lockdown Sheffield United football. What do you think if I have Slot? Should my captain be Gakpo? No, it should be Salah. Salah, like, we've not even spoke about captains this week.
It's that much of a given.
It's, the amount of people...
Even I haven't disputed it.
Yeah, you just go, Salah, done. Right, see you next week. Start Ahmad or Rodgers? Oh.
Ahmad.
Not Rodgers after you've been singing his praises all this time. After
United are home to Palace. I do think Ahmad is their main. He's their focal point, isn't he? I know Bruno's their talisman to some extent, but Diallo is the guy that will make that difference if they are going to find a breakthrough and get some momentum. Rodgers, yeah, I mean, Wolves ain't no Sydney Sweeney, are they?
They ain't no Sydney Sweeney, are they? Bless them. How many games? I mean, this is the perfect question for you, Jake. How many games do you think Liverpool will win in the next 5 if they do double?
Um, I'm going to say so. It's Wolves and Villa in the second one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll say we will beat Bournemouth. I'm going to say we're not going to beat Everton, and we'll beat Wolves and Villa, and then I believe we may draw or we could lose to City with it being at the Etihad. So I'll say 3.
Okay. Okay. All right.
What do you think?
I think you'll probably win all. I think you're going to win 4 out of the 5. I think you'll draw 1, and that draw will be a 0-0 against Everton.
Yeah,
That's written.
stars.
Yeah.
After all the hype, it's one of those, isn't it? All the hype. They've got a whole evening for it. 0-0.
No.
Which means you should have a certain someone in goal.
Yeah. Stop it. Stop it now. Neil has said, should I triple captain this week or next week for Salah? Which one
I do
would you
think
go
next
for?
week's fixtures are a little bit nicer.
I agree.
Wolves are at home as well, aren't they?
Wolves are at home, yeah.
Yeah.
Both
So
of
like,
them away.
as in Liverpool are home to Wolves.
No, you're away, aren't you?
No, because I swear we've beaten them away already.
No.
And we can't be playing 4 away games in a row because I know Villa are
Oh,
at home.
you're at home. You're at home.
Yeah.
But I guess the problem with that then is you're going to go into this game week with no chip, and that feels a bit wrong.
So I take it when you're using your assistant manager, that's 3 weeks of no triple captain allowed.
Yeah.
If you are really not wanting to use, if you're really adamant to use your triple captain, I would definitely say the fixtures are looking more promising in game week 25. However, Salah can score against Everton. He's not got a shabby record, and against Bournemouth, like I mentioned, he has already got a hat trick away at Bournemouth. So it's Salah really that you're talking about. It really just depends on how things go. To be honest, I really can't say anything more. If you're just going by the fixtures, then game week 25. Although I reckon Salah might have an argument for these 2 games being teams that he scored more against overall.
Yeah. Joe has just said, what if Liverpool don't double in 25? Well, if they don't win their EFL Cup semi-final against Spurs, then Spurs will double. So you're still getting a double regardless. Whatever result happens in that Liverpool-Spurs game, we're getting at least 1 double game week. Arsenal. Go on.
Would you go for Postecoglou or Silva?
Silva.
Yeah.
Silva'd have table bonus on Forest.
Yeah, of course. And Spurs or
And
not?
both at home as well.
Are Spurs a table bonus or
No,
not?
Spurs are too far down.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
But
I was just intrigued.
No, yeah. Spurs would have Manchester United and Fulham. So they could get a table bonus on Fulham. But, yeah.
It's unlikely. You'd imagine that. Are they not 5? Are they 5 places apart?
Yeah, I think so. Let me have a look. Fulham as well. That's not an easy place to go.
Nah, you'd go Silva. I'm with you on that.
Let me have a look. Let me get the table up. Oh, yeah. Fulham are 10th. Spurs are 15th.
Oh my God, so Postecoglou could be the one.
Yeah, Postecoglou in. The comeback. The comeback and all.
Well, that's a thing. Let's just say, hypothetically.
Oh, yeah. We're doing a lot of hypotheticals tonight.
Yeah. The Sydney Sweeney's the Spurs manager. No, any messing.
Yeah.
The Spurs lose to Brentford. United win against Palace. And Postecoglou gets sacked.
Right.
You've then got a double game week for Spurs where both sides are 5 points ahead, 5 places ahead.
Oh.
And it's a new manager. It could be Ben Mason again.
Ben Mason? Who the hell is Ben Mason?
What's his name?
Ryan
Mason.
Ryan Mason with his cracked skull.
Well, yeah, his cracked skull or not, he's led that team out to an EFL final.
Yeah, and how did they get on?
Oh yeah, if only they had Jose.
He might as well have cracked it again.
Yeah, could be, well, he could crack the code here though, couldn't he? Because if that works out, I mean, I'm asking for a lot of things, if buts and maybes. But should that crazy scenario happen, I do think I would be tempted by Spurs.
Yeah. What do you think the analogy is that people are using for the assistant managership?
What do you mean?
So, like, obviously, there's a shortened version of it. What do you think people are using for
Uh,
it? Have you seen it in the chat?
oh no, I've not.
Oh, but what do you think it is?
Ass.
It's ass man.
Ass man.
So it's just literally the
Ass
four.
man.
It's
Ah.
it's the Four Lions quote. Where it's what's his name, Cumberbatch or whatever.
Benedict. Oh,
Benedict.
you're an arse man,
You're
Wadge.
an arse man, Wedge, aren't you? What?
You calling me a whammer?
You calling me a whammer? Fuck off. uh,
I found that the other day. You got a nice little university Christmas present of Four Lions. Still got it in
that's,
the
that's
box.
great film. Great film for
So
anybody.
if anyone's bored this weekend and hasn't seen Four Lions, that's our weekend recommendation
Exactly.
for all you gentlemen and ladies. That it seems because everyone seems to be working. We don't actually have any kids in this chat, which is nice.
No,
And
no, no.
if there are any, welcome.
Yeah. I beg your
This
pardon.
flat okay, so weird.
Oh, right. So call the cops. He's off his
Right, I
checks.
think it might be time we
Yeah,
call.
I think that's it. I think that's it. The Diggle police are going to be at your door.
Oh,
Oh, dearie
God.
me.
This,
Jamie just said Rubber Dinghy Rapids as well. What a classic.
yes, lad.
Tom, as it stands and the fixtures go your way, all you need to do is transfer Emery. Yeah, I would do. I saw you put another comment in there as well. Moyes and then the Villa manager. Do you think that is the best play? Asks Andy.
No.
You think Slot's the better way to go?
No, I just feel like sorry, I was taking it that he was going to make a change.
No.
If you go in Moyes, I would not go for the Villa manager next. That's all I was dismissing. I would go for Marco Silva or for well, we'll have to wait and see, really, won't we? Because who knows who gets through.
Yeah. It is all
That's the
dependent.
thing. That's the thing, really, is that you've got to take it one step at a time because Liverpool are not guaranteed that they're through. The only team really that you'd imagine are through Newcastle, and that's not beyond the realms that Arsenal come back there. So I feel like you can't look too far ahead, except for the fact that if you activate this ship, you've got that opportunity to change. Now, with Liverpool being in the form and position that they are in all competitions at the moment, Slot would be the most sensible option, but that does not guarantee that they get a double because that doesn't guarantee they beat Spurs. It would be very, very typical of Spurs to go through
Yeah,
and go and lose
I think Spurs will get through and then lose in the final.
to Newcastle.
Yeah, it'd be funny if it's Arsenal though. It'd be even more funny.
That would be funny, actually.
That would be funny.
I'd quite like to see Newcastle win something with all their Saudi money, though. To be honest,
Yeah.
they've worked hard for it.
Yeah. You've worked hard for it, lads. Well done.
But yeah, no, I feel like personally, like not beating around the bush, Slot's the sensible one, but I do feel like you've got to take it one game at a time. You can't be planning ahead too much because all the EFL Cup games, both EFL Cup games, are very finely poised.
Yeah, agreed. Right, I think we're going to leave it there because I'm slowly wasting away and haven't had my tea.
Oh, mate, those fish fingers are coming out the other end, and I need to refuel.
Oh, wonderful stuff. That's a great way to end the stream. I think we should probably do a little bit of a recap as well for everybody. So what we're saying is Slot is good if you can get him. Moyes is also good though. We like that one. Don't play Morgan Rogers because he did Sydney Sweeney midweek and now has got to get himself up for a 5 out of 10 that he's seen on Twitter. And what else? Have I missed anything else? I think that's probably covered everything. Oh, and remember, ass man. I'm guessing we're all ass men here. You know what I mean? So yeah, up the ass man for double
Yeah,
game
up
week
the
24.
arse, man.
Yeah. You're an arse man. Oh, knew you were, Wedge.
Batty chirps, bro.
Any final thoughts from you, Jake, or all good, mate?
No, all good. Look forward to catching up next week when it's all gone Pete Tong and we've got more stuff to no doubt talk about.
Oh yeah, but final thing for people. If you can't get enough of mine and Jake's face, You know, you're a little bit attracted to them.
Oh, I see where this is
You
going.
see where this is going, don't you? We will be heading to the Riverside on Monday evening, and a video will be going out on the second channel. So if you want to go and see more beautiful content from both myself and Jake, head over to there. It's somewhere on my channel, and you can go and see it. There's already some trips on there with me and Jake hanging out. We went to Blackburn together. We're taking him all the big places of the UK, aren't we?
Yeah,
Blackburn.
hopefully this time we can score a goal.
That would be nice. A goal would be nice. A goal would be
Yeah.
great. But yeah, plenty more content coming out on that channel. Like I said, I'll be live tomorrow as well from 7:15 in the morning. Nice and early. We'll be doing team ratings, answering your guys' questions as always. So I will see you then. But thank you very much for everybody that's been in the stream. It's been a cracker. We'll see you next week. Bye.